everyone, I'm Amy. I'm a nutritional therapy practitioner and I'm also an NPC Bikini and once upon a time fit model competitor. And this is my improvement season vlog. And oh my goodness, I have fun, exciting things for this one. If you guys did not watch my last week vlog, you would not know this, but I got a new coach. So I kind of teased it at the end of my last video that I did hire a new coach. Didn't have any of my plans or anything just yet. So in this first kind of video where I'm talking about my new coach, I don't have feedback yet because we haven't actually done a check-in yet, but I do have my starter plan and I'll kind of talk a little bit about that in this intro. So super exciting. I'm going to be working with Tommy John from Tommy John Coaching. I have followed Tommy for quite some time. He has a great podcast that he does with a men's physique competitor, and I've just been really impressed with him as a coach, listening to him for well over a year now on this podcast and also just following him on social media and seeing how he interacts with his clients and how he trains himself. And I've just been so impressed. So I am very excited. I did a lot of research before I switched coaches. Like I said, I'm not a coach hopper. And I really wanted to make sure that I was picking someone who really understood where I was coming from and had the knowledge base to really help me kind of where I'm at in this phase, this stage, this everything. And I really feel confident with Tommy. So excited to have gotten my new plans. I actually just got them. So today is my first day on my meal plan, and that's going to be the biggest change. And this is something that I told him was somewhat intimidating to me going in, was that I am doing a meal plan with him. So I have in the past almost 100% of the time been a macro dieter. So way back in the day, we're going back to, like 2013. First time I worked with a coach. He was an IIFYM. This is when it was, If It Fits Your Macro was just coming out. And that's how I learned all of these things about macro tracking. And it wasn't done in the way where you were trying to fit Pop-Tarts into your diet. It was literally just like this, way of eating. So even little things like putting weighing out my protein powder and all of these little things that have just become so much a part of my life, I learned from Tyler way back in the day. And I really appreciate that. And it's allowed me to have a lot of flexibility with my diet over the course of these last, 13 years. And so I've always worked with coaches, with the exception of one coach, who do macro plans. So I did work with a coach several years ago who was a meal plan coach, and that was just the way she coached. She didn't like to do macros. And I really struggled because I felt like the meal plans I got from her were just things that she liked to eat, and it wasn't food that I like to eat. And even, so then we'd have to go back and forth a lot, and it was just really challenging. I mean, things like she put dark chocolate on my meal plan, but with my pre-workout meal. And I'm like, I do not want to eat dark chocolate at 4 o'clock in the morning. And she was just kind of perplexed by that. And then it was just this constant back and forth of she'd give me a diet plan. I'd be like, these things aren't working for me. And so it was a lot of back and forth. So she was a great coach. It was like, wow. And I was with her for a full year and, it was fine. But like I said, it wasn't really what I wanted. So after that, I was with Joe for a few years, and he was very much a macro-based coach, which was great. So now I knew going in that Tommy was going to do meal plans, which I had to think through and make sure that I was really committed to, and I actually am. And I got my meal plan today, and it's incredible. There was one meal specifically that I did ask if I could keep in my plan, which you guys have seen before. It's my favorite meal of pumpkin, blueberries, chicken, and peanut butter, and I love it. So I asked him if I could keep that, and he said he'd try and fit it in, and he did. So that's amazing. Everything else, it's great. I think, just because I am so much more aligned with Tommy's philosophy, which is, different from the female coach in the past, the meal plan he gave me, I have literally zero problems with. It is perfect. I would change nothing. So it's awesome. And it's basically exactly the way I eat anyway, which is really cool. So there are a couple of little things here and there that I've, tweaking with my diet to fit, but I'm overall, like I said, it's really just the things that I eat anyway and in a way that I eat them. So it's great. It's been going really well. Like I said, today is my first day of this diet plan, and it's been going really well. Trying to see if there's any highlights here really that I want to highlight. I'm sure, as I go through things, I'll be showing some meals from time to time as I do. A couple of the recommendations is do ginger tea 1 to 3 times a day, and I actually do that anyway. So again, it's all so great. Like everything is just kind of perfect. He is having me increase my glutamine slightly, so doing glutamine before every meal. I was typically doing it like morning, and I do like a pre-workout scoop, a post-workout scoop, and then like one at night. But he's having me do it with all meals, so a scoop before all meals. And just some notes about substituting things, like you can do I can sub in potatoes for rice, which I for the most part will stick with rice, but occasionally it's nice to sub out for potatoes. And I can always sub out my beef for salmon or bison. So those are good things to keep in. And he also told me that I can keep my half and half in my coffee for now. That was one of the things I asked him, like, if it works, can I keep just my 15 mLs of half and half in my coffee? Which it's not a deal breaker. I told him, like, I can drink it black. And I do for most of prep, so it's not a deal breaker, but he said I could keep that in for now. A couple of things that he noted that, like, the things, our goals that we're working on, that I'm a bikini competitor, which I appreciate that he knows that. Some things that I need to work on that I told him is my negative self-talk. You know, that's definitely something that I need to be better at. My goal overall is longevity and health. I am not comfortable in my current condition or shape, and I am not. You know, I really tried hard to stay the course with my previous coach, even when I was expressing that I felt like we were going too far, and we've gone far. I'm at a place where I am very uncomfortable, and I am trying to sit with that discomfort, but I feel like it pushed to a point of it just not being productive anymore and just getting excess fat for no real gain. So just increasing body size to increase body fat is not what I'm feeling, not where I'm at, not happy in this condition. So I appreciate that my coach understands that and knows that. Limited chest training. I just told him, as a bikini competitor in general, I don't need to train chest, and I don't find most chest exercises comfortable to do, which is something that I have mentioned many times before. Still working on optimizing my hormone levels, and then of course I'm in the process of doing the SIBO protocol. So that's kind of where we're starting at. And then I got my workout days, my one high day a week, and then also my non-training days. So super excited there. My workouts are totally different, which I'm actually really excited about. I need to write them all out because I do keep a pretty, I like my logbook. It's just really handy. So kind of going through them, and I really like to mentally go through my workouts beforehand, which is something that's really helpful for me. So writing them down, but then, usually the night before my workout, I'll just look in the book and look at it and just be like, okay, this is my workout for tomorrow. Kind of, just mentally go through the process in my head. If there's anything specific that I need to bring to the gym that day, I make sure I have that. So I like to do that. That for me, really helps me get in the zone at the gym more quickly. And because I do work out so early, maybe that's part of it too. Thinking about the night before just kind of helps me just roll right in and just get into my workout. So I'm excited to go through these workouts. Like I said, they are very different than the workouts I've been doing. A lot of really intense sets, let's put it that way, some very intense training. And I'm really excited about that. So I told him I'm here for it. I am ready for whatever he recommends. And, it's exciting to get a new workout plan. It's going to be, I know I said this, it's going to be a lot different, but it's a 5-day split, upper push. Day 2 is pull day with hinge. Day 3 is my leg day, all legs. Day 4 is push, and then day 5 is pull. So a combination of things, and some things I have not ever done before. There is one move on here called a Serrano press, which looks brutal. You're on an incline bench, but prone, and you're pressing from that position. That's going to be good. I definitely need to make sure that I am well warmed up and work on a lot of shoulder mobility, because those are going to be some challenging things. But he knows that my goals are to build my shoulders, build up my lats, and glutes. So that is what we're focusing on for this first set of workouts. So yeah, that's what I've got going on this week. New diet plan, new workouts, new coach. Super excited for all of it. I don't really think I have much else going on this week. It's June. I'm back up on the roof. I forgot to mention I'm back up on the roof. I know you guys noticed that, but It's a beautiful day here. It is sunny for now. It's been kind of partly cloudy today, but it's beautiful and sunny. I'm going to get a little walk in after this, and hope everyone is just enjoying this beautiful, beautiful summer that's here. It's a short season in Colorado. Summer can be kind of like intense. Well, I feel like all of our seasons are a little bit unpredictable and intense at the same time. So they all have their ups and their downs, and they fluctuate sometimes between both of those in the same day. Like we had hail on Friday, like crazy hail, and then it's sunny and hopefully in the 80s all this week. So I'm excited for a nice, beautiful, sunny summer week, and I hope that that's what's happening for all of you as well, unless you're in a different hemisphere, and then it is pretty much the peak of, or the start of winter for you guys. So summer or winter, whatever you've got going on, I hope it's a nice one. And I will see you guys here in whatever comes next. All right, so this is footage from my new workout regime or new workout split, starting off with a couple of sets of lying leg curls. So I had mentioned that I was having some kind of weird twerking kind of feeling pain in my knee, and my coach gave me the suggestion to put this pad under my thighs. So I did that, and it helped so much. I still had a little bit of discomfort that he and I chatted about after I sent him this footage, but it helped immensely. So he suggested I put the pad a little bit further up under my hips, and also turn my toes slightly in, like towards each other, and also really keep my feet flexed, which I am. I think it's just hard to tell in these shoes. Like I was flexing my feet as hard as I possibly could, or like bringing my toes, toward my face. But I will incorporate that next time when I do this. I'll put the pad up a little bit higher, and also, do that rotation of my toes. I did 3 sets here, I think 3 or 4. Can't remember, but this is just one of the sets. Then after that, I moved on to a few sets of glute hyperextensions. So when I do these, I do them the Brett Contreras way, which is my toes are turned out on a 45-degree angle. And I think you can kind of see that. My toes are actually off the edge of the machine. So I have my feet either turned out, and then you're really keeping your upper back rounded to disengage your back. It's all glute, so you're not coming up like super high. It's really focusing on just pushing your hips into the pad and really squeezing those glutes. I was holding a 40-pound weight for these, and I did 4 sets of, I think, 15. Got a good glute pump going. And then after that, I moved on to the Pit Shark RDLs. I hated my form on these. After when I was watching it back, I was not pleased with it at all. And so I was chatting with my coach about it, and he actually said that he preferred my stiff-legged version. I sent him that from a few weeks ago, and I agree. I actually feel like I feel that engaging way more, and just in general, I feel like I just feel it more. So he gave me some great tips. Kind of wants me to be a little bit more forward so that the middle of my foot is about where the pulley goes down. So I need to come forward a few inches and then go back to my more stiff-legged form and really drive into my heels. He suggested using a band as well, but there's no great place to put a band on this machine because of the way it's set up with the weight stack in front of you, and there's nothing behind to anchor it to. So I'll play around with that. And then I moved on to these chest supported rows. So he said any bent over row variation, or he likes a T-bar, and I know you can kind of see that the other kind of T-bar-ish machine I'd been using, but I just don't really like that machine. I don't like the setup. The ergonomics on it just don't feel great for me. So I decided to use the low chest supported row instead, and really liked this. It was easier to find a spot to set up like a true barbell T-bar row is hard in this gym. There's just not a lot of space. So I did these. I'd done a couple of warm-up sets, and then this was a drop set. So I did 10 and then finished off with 10 more, just dropped 10 pounds on each side. And I really liked these. I felt like I got a good contraction and the range of motion felt really good. And you can see I'm actually standing on this machine and not utilizing the seat at all. So this was good. Then after that, to finish off this workout, I did 2 warm-up sets here on the pull downs that I did not show. So then what I'm going to be doing here is 4 sets of 7. So starting with my hands super wide. And can we just take a moment to be like, what is that guy in the purple shirt even doing? I have no idea. So a set of 7 with my hands really wide, and then I move my hands in a little bit. Go right back in for 7 more, just taking like that 10 to 15 seconds rest to adjust my hand position. And I'm going to do that for a total of 4 sets of 7, not changing the weight at all, so keeping the weight consistent throughout. And this was a good burner. I did those 2 warm-up sets, or kind of feeder sets, just to kind of test the weight. And I was going to go up in weight, and I'm glad I didn't, because man, by that last set, I was definitely feeling like the weight was like tough, but still doable. I mean, I still got all 7 reps. I'll definitely go up in weight next week when I do this again. But just since it was my first time going through it, it was good to just kind of see where I was at, and it felt really good. This was a good way to end the workout. Well, I didn't end it this way. I actually did some abs after this, but it's not interesting to watch people do sit-ups. So this was it for the workout. It was a great one. Well, it feels like forever since I have done a grocery haul. So this is just a small little top off. I needed just a couple of things. I love having a meal plan. It makes grocery shopping super easy. So there were a few things that I needed, and one like incredible super score. So this is from Costco and also from Walmart, mostly from Walmart, but I was at Costco this weekend and they had my favorite oats of all time that just so happened to be the oats that my coach recommended, but they are my favorite oats anyway, from 1 Degree. Sorry, I had a brain fart there for a moment. So this is from 1 Degree. These are sprouted oats. I just love the texture, the way they cook. They're just awesome, easy to digest, and completely gluten-free. They had this giant big bag. It's like a 2+ pound bag or 5 pound bag, marked down to $10. So that was incredible. I should have gotten more. I don't know why I didn't. I just bought one and left. But if I go back this weekend and they still have them, I will definitely stock up, because it's an amazing price and seriously my favorite oats of all time. And I get oats pre-workout, so that's great. Then everything else came from Walmart. And like I said, I just needed a couple of things. I actually went in for the pumpkin. Well, actually I went in for everything except the tea. So I got a box of rice checks. I get rice checks post-workout. I love rice checks. Again, I feel like my coach was like reading my mind. Like he, without asking, put like literally everything I love to eat on my meal plan. So I get rice checks post-workout. So I just got the big bag of rice checks. I needed some more of these little square snack bags. You guys have seen how I did it before going to the Olympia. I think I showed out how I portion out my proteins when I cook them. It's something I definitely have stuck to more recently as I cook up all my chicken. I can show it. I cook up all my chicken and then portion it and freeze it immediately, because it lowers the histamine response. I was having all those issues a few months ago when I did my FitModel show. So just to lower any potential risk of any histamine response from meat that's been sitting in the fridge for a couple of days. So I portion it out. This is the big bag that I put the little bags in. So I portion them out, weigh them, and immediately freeze them. I don't love using a ton of plastic, but I don't I don't reheat them in these bags, so I needed more, and it's just the perfect little size. Like you saw that those, it's just a perfect portion to put my chicken in, and that way it's ready to go. Have a whole bunch of them for the week. So got a box of those. I also got a can of pumpkin. Pumpkin prices have gone up incredibly in the last couple of months. This little can of pumpkin was $2, which is more than they used to be. But I get pumpkin. You guys know my favorite meal is my chicken, pumpkin, and blueberries, and that I get to keep on my plan right now. I also needed more baking soda. I use baking soda when I wash veggies, and also if I was to do any baking, but mostly for veggies and any, other things like sprinkling in my trash bag if there's something smelly in there, that kind of stuff. Normal baking soda things. I also got a sugar-free syrup. I do still get sugar-free syrups on my meals from my coach, so I put this sometimes. I usually do it on my oatmeal in the morning just because I get protein powder in there, so it's already really, really sweet, but I will sometimes put a little bit of it on my chicken and pumpkin meal because it's really good if I'm craving something a little bit sweet. So I got that, and then they had these teas marked down on clearance for $2.50 a box, which was a great deal. So these are the organic, it's the Walmart brand, the Great Value brand. So this is turmeric and ginger. I drink ginger tea often. I have a big bag of that loose leaf tea, but it's handy to take these to work so I can just easily throw them in my bag, like for traveling. I like having non-loose leaf options for those situations. So I got this, they only had one box of the ginger turmeric, so I got that. And then I got 2 boxes of the peppermint and spearmint tea. I love peppermint tea. Again, it's something that's really great for digestion. It's also just really refreshing. It's great iced in the summer. There's the label. I guess it doesn't really have a label. It's just organic peppermint, organic spearmint, fennel, licorice. So I'm excited to try both of these. I'm really excited. So I had to reach way back. They had 2 of these left, but they were they were on the top shelf and like as far as I could reach. Like if I was not so tall, I would not have even seen that they were there. So I'm excited to try those. So that was my entire shopping haul from the week. Like I said, it's not a very interesting one, but that's kind of the bonus of being on a meal plan is it makes shopping really easy. And we're back. It is the end of the week, and it is time to do my very first check-in with my new coach. So the form that I fill out is an online form, but then I'm able to ask it to email a copy to me. So that's pretty cool. So that's what we'll go over. I hope you guys enjoyed the workout footage from this week. As I mentioned in the intro, my workouts are going to be completely different, and oh my goodness, this week. So you'll see in my feedback to my coach, my adductors are still sore. Like my leg day has this intense adductor set, and it didn't feel so. I mean, it was tough when I was doing it, but then like the next day, like even like sitting on the toilet was when it really hurt. Like just anything where I had to abduct or adduct my legs was challenging. It was intense, but it feels a lot better today. But it was pretty sore, which was great. So I will insert a check-in photo here and talk about the feedback form. So it's like I said, it's a little bit different. So the very first thing is pictures. So I attach the pictures right up front. It asks for the current date and then how many weeks until my goal or competition. And I put unknown because it is unknown at this point. I do not have a specific show or goal date in mind. So TBD. Current weight and then the weight from the same day last week. Blood pressure, average fasting glucose, and then adherence to the diet. You get 3 options. So this is a checkbox. So it's either yes, no, or other. And I did check other on this. I said 95% I missed a meal on my rest day. My first rest day, it was one of those days at work where I had people who were late, people who were early. It was like all over the place. So I ended up missing that one meal in the middle, but did catch up a little bit, added a little bit more to the meals after. So made up for it mostly, but did not get in the full meal that day. Adherence to cardio and training was, it's either yes, no, or other, or 100% adherence. And I said yes, did everything. List all of my supplements, current training split, how many days a week, and what is the split. So my new split is a 5-day push-pull legs split. My last deload week, we haven't done a deload week yet, so I left that blank, and I have not submitted updated blood work to him. He and I did chat about it, and I do plan on running some updated labs here in the very near future because it's time. Like I like to run them a couple times a year. Supplements, if I did like a cheat meal this week, which I put NA because I did not. And then there's some star ratings. So out of 5 stars, how was my sleep? I put it as a 4-star. Gym performance, I also put as a 4-star. Had good gym performance this week. Energy levels, I put as a 4. And this is out of 5, not out of 10. Current appetite, on a scale of 1 to 5, from 1 being struggling to finish meals and 5 being ravenous. I always used to joke with Joe, my coach, 2 coaches ago, if I was hungry enough to eat a shoe. I think one check-in with him, I wrote like that week I would have eaten the shoe. I was that hungry. But this week it was just a 3. I did have one day where like I was like starving after my workout. Like I could not get home fast enough to eat my post-workout meal. But other than that, my hunger was normal. Sleep score via my Oura Ring was an 86 this week. My resting heart rate was a 51, and it has been trending down over the course of the week, which was really good. My HRV, it doesn't ask for it, but I did put it in. I guess I didn't put the actual number in. My HRV has been trending up. So those are, to me, like 2 really awesome things to track. So if my resting heart rate is trending down, but my HRV is trending up, like I know that my body's like getting good quality sleep, A, and that I'm also really well recovered, which is really good. So that was exciting to see. So I'll talk about that more in the bottom. Oh. Current water intake, and then this question, current favorite food choices. And of course I am on a diet plan, or I'm on a meal plan. I did not, aside from my asking to keep my favorite meal of pumpkin, chicken, blueberries, and almond butter, I did not ask for any other specifics, but the meal plan he gave me is perfect. I wrote sourdough bread. Oh my gosh, when I saw that I got sourdough bread on my meal plan, like I was like, that's all I thought about until I got it. And then yesterday was a rest day, so I also got sourdough bread again. Oh, it's just so delicious. But I said I love my entire meal plan. I do. I asked for 0 changes. Like I love it. Daily step count. My daily step count was just over 12,000, but 4,000 of that was from cardio. My goal with him, he asked for 8,000, so that's what I'm hitting in steps, and then plus the 4,000 from cardio. Current cardio, I said stair machine or elliptical, 30 minutes of cardio 6 times a week. 5 sessions or post-workout. One is fasted on a rest day. Digestion, I put as a 3 out of 5. A little bit of weirdness this week, but on the SIBO protocol, I expect that there'll be some weirdness here and there. It's overall good, but definitely some stuff I'm still working through. Current mental state, I put as a 4 out of 5. And then extra info, all questions, etc. here. So I wrote, good first week. It's been an adjustment getting into the groove with my meal plan. I've been on macros for many years, but I really love all the meals and foods, and I like the ease and consistency of a meal plan, which I do. It does make it really easy, makes shopping easy, makes everything easy. Workouts have been great, definitely harder and more intense than my previous plan. My adductors are still wrecked from my leg day on Thursday, because they were. I said marked improvement in my HRV and resting heart rate this week and good sleep. I did up my naltrexone from 1.75 to 2.25. I'll keep it at 2.25 next week before increasing to 3 milligrams. So the tablets that I have are a flex tab, so you can break them into quarters, which is what I've been doing. So I started off really low. I am up to the 2.25 and then 3. The whole tablet is a 3 milligram tablet. And I definitely still have, I've noticed more, at least in sleep quality, being on the 2.25, like my goodness, like it knocks me out. Like if I get up in the middle of the night to go to the bathroom, like I like a zombie trying to even get back to bed. Like I sleep well, and I don't know if that's potentially some of the improvements I'm seeing in my HRV and resting heart rate as well. So it's interesting. I've heard anecdotally from people, and of course with low dose naltrexone, people take it for many different reasons, but that it can take, a couple of months of usage before people start seeing some benefits for certain things. And I am hoping that it's going to help somewhat with my digestion, especially in preventing a recurrence of SIBO once it's been eradicated. So that's really my goal right now with the naltrexone. Wake back up. I said I am struggling a bit with feeling very uncomfortable in my current body composition, which he does know. I'm working really hard to focus on the need for muscle growth, but it's hard not to feel like I'm just packing on fat. I said I'm about 10 pounds heavier than previous off seasons. I know it's just a season, and if I want more glutes on stage, I probably need to be a little uncomfortable in my off season. And that's true. I did finally cave and order new scrub bottoms last week because I needed scrubs that fit, and I've never had to do that. I also need to just order some new jeans because I don't have any that fit. So there's just things I need to do. And, you know, like I said, it is something that he knows. He and I have chatted about it, so I'm interested to see what my feedback is from this check-in, but that'll be in next week's video. So yeah, overall it was a good week. I really enjoyed the workouts. They're very different. There's some really fun things also on that leg day. There is a exercise that he called, it's split squats, called the drop set of death. And oh my goodness, the pump was insane. Like it was the very last exercise of this workout, of the leg workout. Crazy glute pump. Like I loved it, but man, was it brutal. So basically what you do is you do a drop set. So 3 sets of 8, stay on the same leg. And I had my 3 different weights lined up. So you do 8 reps, you know, holding one weight, and then you are kind of like half down, half up. So you're like in an isometric hold for 10 seconds. Then you drop the weight, go to the next weight, 8 reps, do the isometric hold, drop the weight, grab the lowest weight, 8 reps, do that isometric hold, and oh my goodness, like I said, the glute pump was intense. So it was awesome. And just overall, really interesting moves and a lot more intensity on some things. So it's really fun. And I will, of course, continue to get some footage here and there as I can and show some of those cool moves or cool new things just kind of integrated in. Definitely a focus on a lot of upper body, a lot of shoulders. I have one dedicated leg day, and then I do have glute movements in my two other days, but just like one exercise. So a lot of upper focus, which is great, but definitely some good lower focus and a really intense dedicated leg day. So that is good. I'm going to use all the fun leg day equipment at my gym. So, and cardio's been good. Everything's all good. It has been a nice sunny warm week here, which has been great. We finally hit the 90s for the first time this year, and it reminded me that the air conditioning doesn't work in my car, which I had completely blocked out of my memory because the only time I went to use it in the last year was, well, 2 times. My first show when I was tanned and driving back stuck in gridlock traffic for an hour when it was 100 degrees, trying not to sweat my tan off. And also when I was in Vegas for the Arnold, or for the Olympia, because it was still like 100 degrees in Vegas in October. It was beautiful. People were complaining about being so hot, and I was just loving it because I was so lean. That was after my second show, so I was super lean. I was loving the heat. Oh, it was great. But yeah, need to figure out probably getting my air conditioning fixed since I am in my off season and don't turn my seated heat or my heat seat heat on when it's 90 degrees outside like I did last summer. So might need to get that fixed. But that's all I got for this week. If you guys have questions about my new coach, there was a comment in my last week video to talk more about the SIBO protocol. So far it's been going well. You know, I did a breakdown of all the supplements in last week's video, and I am, you know, taking those 3 times a day. The kind of weirdness that I've had digestively, it's hard to explain kind of the feeling. I think until, I mean, other people I've talked to who have SIBO explain the feeling to me that I'm feeling, but it's hard to kind of describe to someone who hasn't felt it. It's a lot of weirdness, especially in my lower abdomen. I still feel a lot of disconnect, which is weird. I'm thinking I'm going to reach out to my chiropractor and see if he has a recommendation for a pelvic floor therapist just to kind of help get some, or like someone to do some biofeedback with like that, specifically with the lower abdominal control, to kind of retrain that connection. I feel like potentially just because I've had so much distension in my lower abdomen for so long that my muscles are just kind of feeling disconnected. I still am struggling to pull a really strong vacuum and some other things that are just really bothersome to me. So thinking of some creative ways or some interesting ways to integrate some biofeedback, potentially working, like I said, with a pelvic floor therapist or someone who can really help me re-engage that lower quadrant of the abdomen and just get better control over all of that, in addition to fixing the reason why my lower abdomen is distended. So all of these things together, and it is a work in progress. But if you guys have questions or want more info on anything specific, please let me know. please leave a comment. I would love it if you made it to the end of this video, if you would share this with a friend or subscribe if you haven't. I am trying to grow my little baby channel. In the last few videos, I feel like my channel's dying a little bit. They've had very low views, so hoping that I can keep adding some value and that those of you who are also competitors or just enjoy listening to the ramblings of a bikini competitor, if you have anything specific you want to hear about, let me know, because I'm happy to talk about it. I've talked about a lot on this channel. So don't have a lot of boundaries with what I'll be willing to talk about with you guys. So until next time, please, please, please spread positivity and light to yourself and everyone around you. You are worthy, you deserve it, and I appreciate you all so very much, and I will see you here next time.